to the bold analysis. A sharp spotlight on broad-based cabinet secretaries will actually show you that there is panic sinking. But even at that, it is very irresponsible at this point for the Cabinet Secretary for Energy, Wandayi, to float at this point broad-based politics of William-Ruto's endorsement. Even before Odinga is buried, and they are already politicking at Raila's funeral, while the family has tried to keep off those broad-based politics. It is disrespectful for Odinga family and even for Raila Odinga. At this moment, what will be most important is just to give Odinga a decent send-off. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. Thank you very much. I've just realized even during this difficult time, in this podcast, we are giving you verified news and analysis. So subscribe. And I believe this is the best place for you. When you look at the body language of Mbadi, when Raila died, Mbadi was in India. Not in India, the US for some engagement. But then he had to change plans and he flew back. And is someone that I saw him today for the first time. He saw Odinga lying in parliament. And John Mbadi is beaten. I paid attention, apart from John Mbadi, and of course, I remember him just the other day. I was just doing that analysis that that the people that anchored their cabinet positions on broad-based. The other person I have been following keenly is Dorcas Odour, the Attorney General. The Attorney General is another person that has been coming out, seen very broken. And though she's a member of the steering committee, I understand she had even declined. She didn't want to take the Attorney General spot. And it took Raila Odinga to convince her and tell her that she could just take it. So she decided to take it. And we warned, personally in this podcast, I said that the cabinet slots given to ODM party, it should not be seen as a favor. They should not be hanging on Raila Odinga. It should have been done, and it should be that it is in the face of regional balance and meritocracy, and not because of political alignings or patronage. Now, by the time Odinga is taking his bow, things are playing out as what I want. Let me tell you something. The Anglican Archbishop that ran a riot act, a riot speech on politicians talking about political hypocrisy, really smashed the headlines at the funeral service in Nyayo. And Wandayi and the team around William-Ruto, two things are there. Maybe it is the president himself who reached out to them, or they felt that William-Ruto is being rejected during this Raila's funeral. And this was putting their jobs at risk. I sent one person, one of my family members was in Nyayo, and she was actually telling me that she was painting a picture on how Uhuru was received better, bigger, and even by the time Uhuru was leaving the stadium, the whole stadium was Igwe. But when the President Ruto was leaving, things were just normal. So what was the essence of all that? What was the sense of all that? It is because even in that stadium, the mood in the stadium is that Odinga constituency has not taken up Ruto, that they've been handed over to William Ruto. I don't think. And by they have seen that narrative, they've been handed over to William Ruto. So Wandayi rushed to Bondo. Opoda farm. This is Raila Odinga's home. Kwa boma ya Raila. You know, there is Opoda farm and there is Kangoka Jaramogi. You must get the two differences. Opoda farm is Raila's own home. Unajua, like in Luo culture, ukishakuwa mkubwa unaenda unajenga boma yako. Now Kangoka Jaramogi is where Raila was born. Uko ndio kwao, where the father, that is that home that belongs to the father, where the father was buried. So ndio unakuwa nasikia anaenda kuzikwa Kangoka Jaramogi. It means haendi kuzikwa kwake, atarudi kuzikwa kwa baba yake, where the mother was buried. Now he went there to thank Ruto for state funeral and how it is a favor that have been done for, and giving people there the way Wamalo Kijana, I don't know, died when he was in UK and was not accorded. And the Luo nation should not take it for granted that Raila has been given a state funeral.
I want to thank profusely, I want to thank in a very, very big way His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, for making a proclamation to accord Baba Raila Odinga a state funeral with full military honors. That is something that we cannot take for granted, because he has simply used his discretion as the commander-in-chief to make that proclamation. Many of you will recall that even Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was the first vice president of this republic, was never accorded such honor when he passed on in 1994. And therefore, thank you very much, Your Excellency President William Ruto, for honoring not only Baba and the Jaramogi family, but honoring the Luo community and generally the followership of Baba as a whole.
This is one of the messages to appease the masses. And I dare ask, so Luo nation should rejoice because Raila has been accorded a state funeral. And do you know, I honestly appreciate, and of course, we take cognizance of the fact that it was an option. It was optional. It was not a must. But Raila deserved it. Yes, Raila deserved it. He deserved those honors. He was qualified, even though the president had an option of not. So to that extent, it's fine. Now, there were outpouring speeches in Nyayo. Ida Odinga spoke. Winnie Odinga spoke. Rosemary. Oburu Odinga. Jao Kodesanto Oburu. And Raila Jr. I didn't see them stressing on this state funeral. In fact, I did hear them telling Ruto, thank you for giving our Baba a state funeral. Why? Maybe they just felt out. It's normal. I'm not saying Odinga was entitled to it, but he just deserved it, even though the president had an option of saying, I'm not doing it. In fact, if it were not broad-based, my guess is they would have not done it. In fact, and I wonder, Wandayi must know that yes, Ruto needs bonker points. But was state funeral amongst the 10 points agenda where the broad-based thing was anchored? I'm heading there because Wandayi went to Raila residence. Before even the body of Raila is laid there, before Odinga is buried. And when Odinga was alive, Odinga said, We'll support Ruto until 2027, then from there we will decide which way. That is what Odinga said. And ODM leaders used to give different versions of it. Sifuna said, we are not working with Ruto. Sifuna Orengo said, it's not worth working with Ruto. And then there are some other quarters that were saying, no, we have to be with Ruto. That is the only option. But what Raila said, it is a democracy. Everyone, you can say your thing. But at the right time, we'll sit down and decide. Now, Wandayi has gone to Raila's residence and then decided.
Thirdly and lastly, indeed, is to affirm that Baba has left us as a people in government. Baba Raila Odinga has left us in government led by President William Ruto. And that is where we are going to stay. Till the end. Yes. Till the end. And I can dare say, without any fear of contradiction, that we are going to walk step by step with President William Ruto to the end. Now and beyond 2027. That I must say from here. I must say from here. And ODM, which is the party that I belong to, and that all of us here belong to, has made a very wise decision to appoint Dr. Odour as the acting party leader. In fact, I will be proposing as a life member of ODM that the ODM convenes very, very quickly, soon after Baba's send-off, the National Delegates Convention, to actually confirm Dr. Oburu's appointment and in fact to elect him formally as the party leader of ODM. Because we believe Dr. Odour has got the wherewithal, the necessary experience and the composure to steer this party to the next level, whilst working closely with our partners in the broad-based government, who are UDA, led by President William Ruto. So I want to remove any doubts whatsoever from whomsoever's mind that this region will remain intact. This region is going to remain intact within ODM and is going to get leadership and direction from the party leader, that is Dr. Odour, going forward, youth leader. So that.
So he's saying we are going to work, he's going to endorse Ruto. What is the rush? What is the rush? ODM party has party leader, interim party leader, who was just appointed the other day, Odinga. I felt that was also rushed though. And even the plan to rush to establish Odinga as the deputy party leader was rushed. But I'll look at that. I was saying this. It has party structure. At this point, what is more important? What should have taken Wandayi at Odinga's residence is probably just to talk on preparations and the story ends there. He was there with Orengo. Alipofika, walienda na chopa moja na Orengo. Orengo didn't delve into the politics of Ruto this, Ruto that. He just talked about preparations for the burial. Just that. Caleb Amisi did a tweet. Some interesting one I would want us to look at here. There's something, he reacted to this issue. And I would want us to look at Caleb Hamisi tweet. I had that tweet here. Let me just check it. Yes, this. He's saying, it is not proper for some ODM leaders to come to Baba funeral crying that Raila Odinga left Nyanza people in the government. Let us mourn first, then let us tell us where he left you. And if indeed he left you in the government, why would you shout on top of your voices? I thought Baba akisema left ni left, right ni right. It should flow smoothly. Baba, give us a signal. They are here, Baba. They never loved you. They loved government instead. Give us a signal, Baba. They are crying louder than us. Baba, give us a signal. what Kalibamisi is saying, they loved the fact that they are in government. And that is what they are worshipping. That they cannot even give a break for the burial to happen first. What is the hurry? What is the rush? Is the world coming to an end? I agree with Kalibamisi that the statement from Wandayi was rushed. And really it was unnecessary at this point. What is the whole point? Remember, they're talking about that, there is something going on in social media. And I saw Nyonka and Spice FM saying, where do we get the power to praise Ruto? Well, the things Raila did not want, the things Raila fought for, Ruto started rolling back the carpet like immediately.
So what are we celebrating Raila about, saying how he was a great leader, he fought for the justice of this country, and he wanted a better Kenya? If when the same very things that this man Raila was talking about are the ones we are doing just after he has died, a day after.
In the morning of...
Yeah, so I don't believe in William anymore. I don't believe in the president anymore. And I don't understand why he's doing those things which Kenyans are telling him, don't do that. We are beyond that. We left abductions. We left detention. I mean, the president said Raila was a hero because he was detained unfairly. So what are you saying, Mr. President, when you are having more than 250 kids who are actually being slaughtered? That, for me, logic of yours doesn't add up.
In fact, I can urge the president that at Raila's funeral, one of the things we should pull is, unaona ile law yenye ulisaini ya cybercrime, enda uitoe. Si Raila fought for freedom of speech and freedom of media. And the media gave a very good tribute saying that of all the political leaders, kama kuna kiongozi moja hakuwahi sue the media, ni yeye. Hakuwahi sue the media. In fact, and this is it. The broad-based way cannot produce a kingpin for Luo Nation. It cannot produce even a kingpin and a party leader for ODM. It will not. They should just gather what happened when Jaramogi died. When Jaramogi died in 1994, Kijana Wamalwa took over the chairmanship of the party. And he faced Raila Odinga for it. But he won it in very controversial manner. Raila decided to resign immediately and joined the national NDP, the National Democratic Party, where he went on to the 1997 general election, vied for that seat, lost, became actually number 3 after Kibaki. Then in 2002 formed Rainbow Coalition with LDP, endorsed Kibaki, and from then later come on with the ODM party in 2005 and died at ODM. Now, this is it. After all that, even at that time, Aki break up, they were not with Orengo. The likes of Orengo came back in 2007 after realizing that the undisputed voice in Luo Nation was actually Raila Odinga. Now, that is what is most likely going to happen. But what I foresee is a situation where everyone will have his kingpin. Every home, every village, every county will have their kingpin. Jim Bond is saying this. Pigeni tu kelele. The person who united us as Luos was Raila Odinga. Now that he's gone, each county in Luo will have their own kingpin who can give them directions. Kama ni mbaya mbaya. Each village will have its own kingpin. Kama ni mbaya zaidi, each home will have its own kingpin. The stronger kingpin will then unite Luos in the years to come. Wacha tu tumalize matanga kwanza. Yes. Tumalize matanga kwanza. This, and you see those voices, you see that kind of voices from the streets. That is why I say, avoid this broad-based politics. You know, it was selfishly rushed. I personally questioned why we had to give Oburu the role to be the acting party leader That decision arrived at by consensus. Of course, I support the fact that Oburu is the acting party leader. I support that. However, I question the timing. I question the rush. It was rushed. Kwani, was there any activity that the party leader was going to do now that Odinga is dead? There was some activity at ODM party where the party could not be without the party leader at this point. It is just 3 days. And actually, we're getting to the weekend. So Monday, we could still have that party leader by Monday or Tuesday's working day. If anything, the president even gave some leeway, some holiday. ODM rushed. And I saw Linus Kaikai also questioning it. Like, Burial-Ruto is co-chairing Raila's funeral committee. They would have just waited Raila Zikwe. They just call an NDC in a more organized manner and arrive. They use the party structure. The party constitution is there. Probably, I don't know whether that party constitution established whether they can pick a party leader or so. Then they do it.
Unfortunately, Yvonne, this is the reptilian side of Kenyan politics. Normal human beings will say, we have a burial at hand. The body is at Lee, is in the mortuary. Normally, everything waits first.
I mean, it's still here in Nairobi. They haven't even gotten to Kisumu, let alone Bondo.
Yes, and not a fault of this, because I think this is a movement that the party itself and those in the party is taking. And at a human level, it should be faulted. Yes. That what is decent. Yesterday, the National Executive Council, NEC of ODM, met. On the day the body is arriving, and appointed
Odour.
Odinga, Senator Odour Odinga, as acting party leader. One would wonder what the rush is. I mean, Raila's wish was to be buried within 72 hours.
Right.
ODM is beating Raila's burial deadline to selecting his replacement. I think it's a rush that just shows the indecency of our politics. There's nothing. I don't know what decisions the party is required to take between now and the time that Raila is buried, that all these replacement appointments are necessary. I think the sound thing should have been, there's a deputy. By the way,
there's a deputy.
ODM has a deputy party leader. Yes. ODM has
a chairperson and several deputy chairpersons.
Yes, several deputy chairpersons. Yeah. So there's absolutely no crisis.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the only agenda should be the decent send-off of Raila Odinga. But you see from that pronouncement already, the politics, that looks beyond Sunday. And these are some of the frailties of our politics.
Yeah, but it also shows you what potentially is to come, which we will not even talk about now. We will see what happens after.
And Linus Kaikai also questioned it. The reason why this was being rushed and this decision was made for people who are pursuing broad-based, because they knew Oburu is a choir leader for broad-based. So they wanted that by the time washamweka, so kwa matanga atakuwa na push the broad-based agenda, because the people that are in cabinet, they are only fighting for their positions, and it is so bad, and we said it. Orengo asked for the structured engagement with Ruto, so that it is secure. Now, hata sahi hata Ruto akiamka kesho aseme sasa Mbadi is no longer going to be in the treasury. What will happen? Will you challenge it anywhere? If anything, it was hanging on Raila's coat. Why the panic? Why do you think there is this panic? There is this panic because probability of Ruto receiving hostile reception in the lakeside is there. They have some missteps they've been making here. And Wandayi feel if Ruto is rejected in Nyanza, that's their end, and Ruto will pick plan B. Bishop Cordia message killed broad-based in Nyayo. There is a way he delivered his message intertwined with, he correlated it to Raila's school of politics. And you can see the rousing welcome that speech received. And that does not sit well with characters. The other issue is Raila's death could also trigger cabinet changes. Remember, the broad-base was broadened by arrival of Gideon Moi. And even before even the news of Raila dead came through, that was mooted, and people are feeling like it could affect them. Uhuru reception by Raila supporters is something that irritated quite a number of people. I saw Kilelesho MC lie. Hao ndio watu walikuwa na hang on ODM court, on Raila's court. They are not comfortable that Raila supporters are embracing Uhuru Kenyatta. Why? Because they know Uhuru Kenyatta is not supporting William Ruto. And that, if Ruto is not guaranteed of that vote, I don't know whether he will. I think the politics of I need to go to talk to Kingpin A so that politics will end. You'll have to deliver for the people. And Raila's exit is disorienting that political thinking. That political playbook is almost being buried by the exit of Odinga. Now, I don't know. He was the strongest kingpin at the moment. I don't know. In our politics, I don't know whether there's another kingpin apart from him, and probably Uhuru Kenyatta by then, and William Ruto. And so this time things are a bit different. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Let's meet in the next.